Wanted to show you guys what this looks like underneath here before we put the skid plate on. You can see the echo box right here. Let me lower this down. It's going to be hard for me to get good views from under here, but this is our whole drivetrain. And then let me show you how we did the this is the echo box foot that gets bolted to the transfer case skid plate. And then this cross member is the cross member that we built that goes to the factory tranny mount. That used to be where the skid plate is, but where you can see the skid plate comes to here. So now this is in front of the skid plate. I want to build another skid plate to kind of protect the transmission a little bit. Let me get over here and see if you can see the linkage. Okay, there's the linkage to the echo box, and if you look way up in there, you can see where it goes to the shifter. Right there, I had to clearance the tranny mount a little bit so we could use the drain plug on the echo box. And then that rusty part of the exhaust and that glass pack up to where that flange is, that's the old exhaust. Now, from those flange plates and back, that's our new exhaust. And let me get over here a little bit so you can see a little better. So the muffler is still above the skid plate. If you look, the skid plate comes to here. So the muffler's still behind the skid plate. And I've got wire holding the muffler up right now. Don't laugh about that because it's temporary. Might be permanent if it lasts good. I don't know. But I had to have something to hold it up right there. So we're going to take it for a test drive. So that's the way it's going to be for right now. And then this is how, let me show you this view of the cable. This was kind of a challenge right here. That cable goes right between the transfer case and the muffler. I don't think it's too close to the muffler, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. So anyway, it runs up there, and then I attached it to the bottom of the Jeep to keep it up out of the drive shaft right here. So let's see. So looking forward above the transmission, you can kind of see how the linkage goes. It shifts pretty nice. Anyway, here's another view at the drivetrain and this cross bracket. I love the cross bracket because now we don't have to have the skid plate to hold up the drivetrain. And then I think I said already, this right here is going to bolt through some bushings right here to the skid plate. That's the echo box foot that came with it. This bracket right here, this black one you're looking at, I had to build that. It was from the we have a Novak shifter, push-pull cable for the transfer case right here. And that bracket came with it, but it didn't work. After we put the echo box, I had to cut it apart and remake it. So it works pretty good now. So that's the cable shifter for the transfer case. You can see the echo box in there and the mount under it. All right, that's about all I can show you under here. Hello everybody, we are out test driving Kayla's Jeep with the echo box in it today. This video has taken a long time because when we started this project, we had to replace the engine. And we had some bugs getting it to run reliably. That's why it took us so long to finally get out here and test it out. So I'm going to kind of go through everything, what we did, and then I'm going to give the camera to Kayla, and she's going to show you what we did inside and tell you what she thinks about how it drives. So when I first started this, the way that I lined up the engine is, this is a 6-cylinder fan shroud, so I just lined up the fan on our 4-cylinder to the middle of the fan shroud. I have it a little bit lower than the halfway point because I thought the engine was sitting up a little too high if I was to center it. height-wise, but it is centered in the fan shroud side to side. And that tiny little fan, 4-cylinder fan, doesn't fill out the fan shroud very well. And I was a little concerned about that as far as cooling goes. And it ended up being more of a bigger deal than I thought. It didn't just get a little bit hotter, it got a lot hotter. So we put this 16-inch pusher fan in there. It's a Flexolite. I wanted to get a good brand, so that's a Flexolite 16-inch pusher fan. And we found out today that it works really well. I think it was an airflow problem because we moved the engine forward 8 inches, which is a lot, and a lot of heat was building up here in the front. So now with the fan, it pushes out, and we've been in low range for quite a bit today, and the engine's been running just perfect temperature. So now what else we had to do is this crossbar for our upper shock mount. I had to cut that off and redo it. See how it's kind of tilted forward? It used to go straight across, but then it would have collided with the pulley, power steering pulley and air conditioner pulley. So I had to do that. And then another thing that we had to do is the power steering high pressure line right here. That's the factory high pressure line. If I can get in here, it's hard to show you, but it wouldn't work at first. And I got another high pressure line and couldn't get that one to work. And then finally what I did with this one was I just had to bend. See how the beginning of the line is metal. I just had to bend it a little bit, and then it was we were able to use it. It's hard for you to see in there. So that was another issue, the power steering pressure line. Then the next thing that I had to do is the radiator hoses. The upper radiator hose is a factory 4-cylinder radiator hose. It's got that straight piece on it, so we just had to cut it and shorten it. The bottom radiator hose is from a 6-cylinder, and we did have to cut a little bit off of it, but it worked pretty well. It's pretty much just slap it together. And then as far as all the wiring that goes to the throttle body, all the sensors, wiring to the distributor, what we did was her wire loom was in really bad shape. It was all cracked. It was the old Jeep type like this, and it was dry and cracked. So we decided to re-loom it. And then I thought I was going to have to extend some of the wires, which I was prepared to cut and solder. But once we took all the loom off of it, we found that there was plenty of slack in all the wires. So we just had to pull them forward. That's why you see the harness kind of floating back there. See how much room is between the valve cover and the firewall now? So we re-loomed it with some more modern looking loom. I think it looks way better. And other than that, everything else in the engine compartment is pretty straightforward. Didn't really change anything on this side that I can show you. I did hook up the battery a little different. I'm kind of proud of that. Looks pretty cool. I think we get a better connection that way. That was a fix that we did when we were trying to fight some of our engine starting problems at the beginning. But let's take a look at the inside of the Jeep now and see how Kayla likes driving it.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us for this final segment of our EchoBox project. I wanted to show you guys what we had to do inside to make this work. So here's the original shift tunnel right here, where my shifter used to come out. So since everything's moved 8 inches forward, obviously, that's up there. Now to make that work right there, you see that thing right there? There used to be ducting right here to come out for the feet. This is an off-road Jeep. I don't even have AC, so the heat will just blow out just fine, I'm sure. But there was an airbag control module that was mounted right there. We had to get rid of that in order for our shifter to fit under there. And as you can see, there's just barely the perfect amount of clearance for this shifter here. It is kind of a long shifter. It's kind of like a truck shifter the way we have it, but I love it. It's very comfortable for my hand. And there's my shifter for the EchoBox. It was kind of fun trying to get it on a curved surface, but it works just perfect right there. So the EchoBox is literally right under there. And we can still take this off and use it as an access panel. So I'm going to put some insulation under here and another piece of carpet and get everything all buttoned up right there. But there was just a little bit of minor modifications when it came to the inside. And really, that's about it.
How'd you like driving it today?
Oh, I loved it. It was so great. I've gone a little over 100 miles, probably about 130 miles now since we've had it in the new engine. And now that we've got the overheating issues worked out, I feel like it's safe for us to go out on the trails and do some trimming and get things ready for the Chili Challenge this year. I don't know if any of you watching have ever been to the Chili Challenge, but it is the 30th annual Jeep event put on by the Las Cruces 4-Wheel Drive Club. And it's located out at Lake Caballo in New Mexico. It's out near Array, Darien, Array, New Mexico. And anyways, we'd love to see you guys out there. We're going to be leading some trails. There's a bunch of good people out there, and it's always a good time. It's October 12th through the 17th or something like that. Yeah, 13th through the 17th. But yeah, that week. But anywho,
I want to know, before you go, Kayla, I want to know what it was like driving over those rocks with the 10.8 to 1 crawl ratio. It looked like you were going pretty slow.
It was like a piece of cake.
What are you doing, Kayla?
I have invented this self-driving Jeep. Look, Mom, no feet.
This is her new ultra-low first gear, 10.8 to 1. So that's as slow as she crawls right there. Yeah, just idle speed. It's pretty cool. We're out here testing it. This is the first day we've had a successful test drive. We kept getting check engine lights. We haven't had very good luck getting the engine running reliably, but it seems like it is now. So we're out here testing the new underdrive EchoBox. It's pretty cool.
I have to say I feel a little spoiled with that 10.8 to 1, and I'm also a little nervous that I'm going to break an axle shaft.
A lot more torque.
A lot more torque, yeah.
And she found out too how much more useful 2.7 to 1 is.
Oh, I love
than
my
4 to 1 when you're
2.7.
just driving out in the desert. 4 to 1's kind of too slow.
It kind of is.
Yeah. It's nice to have that 2.7 to 1, huh? When
Yeah,
you need it.
yeah. Love it.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us and keeping up with us.
Yeah, thanks as always for watching. Please like and subscribe for more Team Malachowski adventures.
Hopefully we'll be out on the trails next weekend.
Yeah. See you on the trails.